Hello everyone, 2011 Cadillac SRX, and we will be replacing drive belt. So this job is not that simple since we will need to remove engine mount on the left hand side. So let's get started. First thing that we need to remove is the air filter box. So we will start with top cover, those connections and the clamp. So this connection over here, just press and pull. Next one, you need to remove this lock, so slide this gray piece out, and then same thing, press and pull. Next we will get this hose clamp off, and you can use either 10mm socket or you can use flat screwdriver, and I will leave the links to the parts and tools in the description to the video, so please check those out. So now we have one more plastic clip over there. So at this point we should be able to get this filter cover off and get it removed. So there is one more at the back, but not the easiest thing to reach. But it is there, trust me. So now we can pull this cover off, get the filter out. It's a good time to check the filter condition, and it's quite bad. So just push those wires out of the way. So next we will need to remove 3 Torx screws, so one over here, one over there, and one just over there at the bottom. So it's they're sitting in a rubber bushing, so don't expect them to come off all the way. And the last one just over there. So now our air filter box should come straight out, hopefully. Nice. Alright, so your belt sits under this aluminum bracket, and to get that out, it will require to get the engine mount off. 1, 2, 3, 4, or actually 3 bolts on the engine mount itself, and then 1, 2, 3 on this piece, and then there will be few more on the bracket itself. So to get a little bit more room over here, we will get this AC bracket loose, and it seems like it just 10 mil, not just at the bottom. So that bracket is loose, and it was just that thin nut. My apologies, I lost audio in the last clip. So basically we removed 3 bolts on this side, 3 bolts on that side, and now we should be able to remove this bracket. And before you remove those bolts, just make sure that you support your engine with the block underneath, since this is all that holds your engine on the passenger side. So this is removed. Alright, so next we'll remove this bracket itself, and those are 18 mil. So there's no room for the impact, so we'll need to do some manual work here. But it's not too difficult if you have the right tools. So this one is quite easy to access. Then there's one in the middle that is also is not too difficult to access. And then there is one just over here. We will probably need to play with this AC line. So the shallow socket would not work. I will try the deep one. Alright, so I'm using shallow socket and a long extension that allows me to basically go past those 2 AC lines. So that should be good. Okay, so our bolts are getting close to be removed. So it seems they are the same size. I should remove my helper socket. Okay, so that bracket is falling down. So we will grab that bolt. And we'll get this bracket out. Awesome. That's probably was the hardest part. So if you get here, great job. So now we have access to the belt and we can get to the removal. Before you remove your belt, please make a diagram how your belt is routed. Before you remove your belt, just take a diagram. It doesn't need to be too complicated, just a simple diagram, so that will help you to put the belt back on. So this is how mine looks like. Okay, so I have my wheel and fender liner removed, so I can do it from the bottom, which is quite easier. But for yourself, if you're just replacing a belt, there's no need to go underneath. So just use 1/2 inch long ratchet and you go clockwise to get the tensional loose, and now you can just remove the belt. Okay, so the next step would be to grab the new belt and the old belt and just basically stretch them together to make sure that size is the same. So it is the same, so we can put it on. Alright, so now we should be able to put our bracket back in. So just a reverse procedure for that. So we will slide it back in place. We'll get the bolt started. And we'll get them torqued. Unfortunately, I don't have exact torque spec for that. Those are M12 bolts. So now we will torque them to 60 foot-pounds. I don't know exact specs, but just by judging by the size, it seems reasonable. 60 foot-pounds for those bolts M12. Next we will slide in this bracket. and install those 10 bolts. Actually, those 3. So there are two longer and 2 shorter and 3 longer. So the longer bolts will go on the engine side, while the shorter will go on the frame side. And so those are 10 bolts. Same scenario here. I don't know exact specs for the torque, but considering the bolt size, we will give it somewhere 40 foot-pounds, and that should be snug enough, but please don't quote me on that. So next we will attach that AC line bracket with the 10 mil nut just over there. Okay, so next we will put our air filter box back in, and we'll a little bit of wiggling to get it in. So this snorkel, it has to go into that hole in the frame. Getting closer, but not quite yet. Okay, took a little bit of wiggling and tiggling, but at this point I think we're in a spot that we can tie down those, maybe not. So the first one went in well, but the other two, not sure why they don't want to go in. Okay, so I got the filter installed, the cover installed. So now we will get the wiring plugged in. So this one and the lock. Push it in, the gray piece. And this one. And the last thing would be to get the hose clamp tight. And that's 8 mil. Or just a flat screwdriver. And at this point we are done. Please like and subscribe if you wish. Check the links to the parts and tools in the description to the video, and as always, do it yourself.